demonstrator, and today I'm making a card using this new stamp set, the Seaside Notions. It's a beautiful stamp set. I've not used it before, so this is the first time to use it. And making a card for the Cardz for Galz is a challenge blog, and I have just become a design team member. So I'm very excited. So this will be my first card. So let's just get started. I'm going to start with the Seahorse. I've got a piece of thick Whisper White here, and I'm going to do a little bit of stamping to start with. The theme for this particular card is your favourite colour combination. And I'm going to stamp this right in the middle. So I'm just using Memento ink here because I'm going to do a bit of alcohol blending. There we go. And I'm going to be using some blue colours. And my favourite colour combination are blues, greens and silvers. And so I'm actually using the Stampin blends. I'm using the Dark Pool Party and the Light and Dark Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to do really simple colouring here. I'm just going to go over the whole of my Seahorse using Pool Party. And then I'm going to do a few shadows with my Bermuda Bay. And I'm not going to make you watch this. So this is the finished result. I finished all the colouring and we're going to move on to the next stage. So I'm also going to stamp onto this. Now this is a masking sheet. I'm going to stamp my Seahorse on here because I want to use the masking sheet so I can do my background. So I'm just going to stamp that on this side. I want to cut my Seahorse out of the masking sheet, but I want to do it cleanly. So I only want one cut going in, and then I'm going to try and keep it level all the way around. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you when I've finished. So I've cut that out now, and hopefully you can see what I meant. So I've cut my Seahorse out without cutting in from any other way. I've just cut in that one way because I want to use both pieces. So I want to stick this over the top of my Seahorse. I don't actually even need to stick it. I just want to stamp over the top. So I'm lining it up. I'm going over with my embossing buddy. I've got some Versamark here. And I've got this little stamp that is meant to be the seabed, I believe. And I just want to do some little random stamps. So I don't want to cover the whole of my Seahorse, but I just want him to have little dots around the edges. There we go. Then I'm going to bring in my silver embossing powder and just put that over my Seahorse. And then I'm going to go and heat emboss that. So I wonder if you can see that. So I've done my silver embossing. Oh, there you go, there, you can see it there. And like I said, I've not gone all over, it's just a subtle hint of embossing powder. My Seahorse is going to be at the back of my card. So this is what I'm going to have in front. So I'm going to have it in a window. So I now know that I want my background to go beyond my window. So this is the die that I'm going to be using to cut out. And now I want to do the background. So I'm bringing in my little Seahorse that we made earlier. You just peel the plastic off the back. And then you just stick this over. And this is going to protect the work that we've done. It's not going to be perfect because obviously I was just fussy cutting this. If I'd had a die for my Seahorse, it would have made this a lot easier. Okay, so I've now covered that all over. So I've brought in my sponge brayer and I'm going to start with Balmy Blue. And I'm just going over So I'm not pushing, hard, I am just going over gently. I've actually put a block into my ink because I've noticed that this sponge is quite old and I can see bits coming off, so I didn't want them all to come off into my ink pad. I'm going to change colour. I'm now going to use Coastal Cabana. Again, I'm going to just push it into my ink and ink up my brayer from there. And I'm going to finish with Night of Navy. Night of Navy is my favourite blue, but it is dark, very dark. So I need to be careful with this one. I'm bringing in my little finger dauber here, and I have cut out with this fantastic fishnet die. I've cut out this in a thick scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to use it as a mask. So I'm dipping into my Night of Navy, and I'm just going to go over with my finger dauber to make like a little pattern around the bottom. So I also went round with just a tiny bit of Coastal Cabana, just right over the Seahorse there, and I'm just going to take the mask off now. And there you go, and there's a little Seahorse. So the framelit I'm going to be using is this one, so he fits perfectly into there. So let's get on to the next step. So I've got my layer here. So this is just a normal card size. So this is an A4 piece of card that I've cut in half. So it's 14.9 centimetres, and then I've scored it at 10.5 centimetres. So that's going to be the base of our card. And this is going to be on the top, and it's just a tiny bit smaller. So I've actually cut that at 10 centimetres by 14.4, and that's so we've just got a little bit of this Coastal Cabana colour coming around. And then I've also got a piece of Night of Navy, and that's going to go in there, and it's not actually any sort of size, it's just it's going to be a layer. So let's start doing some cutting. So I want my whisper white piece to be my top layer, and so I'm bringing in my largest stitched die. So this is a stitched die, so it actually cuts and makes little stitch marks at the same time. And I'm going to put that in the middle of my whisper white there. I'm just going to take that over to the big shot and cut it. So we're going to have our Night of Navy at the base, and then this is going to go over the top, and this die is going to go in here. So I'm just going to get something to hold that down. So I've got a piece of sticky like post-it note, and I'm just going to put that on here to hold it down. And then I'm going to run that through my big shot, and then we can take that out. Again, we can put that aside to use on a different project. Now that is a little bit crooked, but I'm just not worried, because actually it's just going to layer behind the white one, and then we can get the white one straight. And then behind that we're going to have our Seahorse. So this piece is going to be cut down so it fits in the centre of there. I've cut my Seahorse piece down, and I'm just going to stick that so it's on the back of my Night of Navy piece here. And I'm just going to use a little bit of snail glue to go around the back. So my next layer I'm going to put on like this, but before I do that, I've cut some seaweed, and I want that to go on the inside of my card here, so you can see it peeking through. So when I'm happy with where I want it to be, I'm just going to stick it to my piece of Night of Navy. On the back of my white layer I've put lots of foam, so lots of dimensionals on the back, and so that is going to pop over this one. And I'm also going to decorate the front here. So I'll cut out some more seaweed. I have a little silverfish. So I'm going to stick these down as well. So I've actually decorated just the corner of my top layer, and I've taken the backing off of my dimensionals now, and I'm going to stick this down. And I've stuck that down. Looks a bit messy on the back, and I'm going to stick that onto the card base. And to finish it off, I've just added a few. I've added a couple of starfish, and I've added a few of these little embellishments as well. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please make a card and put it onto the Cardz for Girls or Card for Gals blog. And you never know, you might win. You might win the challenge. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. Bye.